In this video, I'm gonna go through a live example of how I would write my own cold emails if I was just getting started in sales. And you wanna make sure you watch this video until the end because I'm gonna give you some of my best cold email templates that you can copy and use right away and get inspiration from. I'm gonna show you step by step of how I would approach my prospects. And by the end of the video, you're gonna get some of my best strategies to start sending cold emails and book more appointments with your dream clients. What's going on, everybody? My name is Patrick Dang. Before we get started, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And let me know in the comments, what's your #1 challenge when it comes to sending cold emails? Because I read every comment and I'm happy to help you guys. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive in. So like I said before, in this video, I'm gonna go through a live example of how I would write my cold emails if I was starting as a new sales development rep or a new account executive, and it was my job to generate leads with enterprise customers, all right? And for this example, I'm going to act as if I am a new sales rep working at a company called Frame.io. So as you can see here, Frame.io, and for this video, we'll just call it Frame. They are a 200-person company, and what they are is a software for production, media, anybody who does any type of editing on Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro. It's basically a streamlined software people can use to collaborate, give feedback on each other when it comes to editing a video, doing annotations. So if you kind of go on the website, you could edit videos on your phone or give annotations. As you can see over here, you could leave comments and things like that. And personally for me, I actually just started using Frame for my editing process. So as you see these YouTube videos, I work with an editor who helps me edit my videos, and we use Frame for me to give them feedback to make the videos better and to give them specific directions. And then that's what the final product you see in this video now. So, and now when it comes to selling to enterprise, you could sell Frame to individual people or individual teams like me and my editor, or you could sell to large enterprise companies with hundreds or thousands of employees. For example, companies that use Frame is Vice, Ogilvy, which is the advertising agency, Netflix, Google. So obviously these are huge names. And when it comes to the pricing of how much this costs, right? So if you're gonna do by team, obviously enterprise, it's always gonna be a custom deal because you get special discounts depending on how many seats you get. But let's say it's $25 per month per person. If you have 100 people that you're selling it to for $25 a month, that's $30,000 a year. So you can kind of see that, as teams get bigger, and some media companies literally have thousands of content creators. So, these prices can go up in the tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands, depending on how big the company size is. So now that we have set the scene, if I was a sales development rep who just started my, first day working at Frame, as and my job is to generate leads, the first thing I would actually do is I would figure out the specific pain points to why people are buying this software, right? Because if there's no pain and there's no reason for someone to buy, then there is no sale. So I would start my day, asking all the other sales rep, asking the product team, the customer success team, anybody in the organization that can give me some information, and I would ask them, why is it that our customers are buying Frame, and what specific pain point did these people have they want to solve, and that's why they purchased Frame to solve that problem, right? And what you wanna do is you wanna go to your best customers and figure out why exactly they purchased this product in the first place. And you identify the pain. There's probably a reason for why someone bought, right? Because if you have your best customers over here, let's say top 20 customers, and they all bought for one specific reason, well, all you gotta do is find customers who are similar to the top 20 and who probably experience the same pain point, and you send them a cold email pitching them about that pain and how you solve that pain. And then the likelihood of them actually responding to your cold email is a lot higher because you're just duplicating what has already worked. But if you are, let's say, a new company or you're a startup and you don't have that many customers yet, or maybe you don't have any customers, you have to do your research to understand the market and to see the pain that people are experiencing, whether it's reading about it online and things like that, and then writing a cold email pitching that pain and showing how you can solve that pain. It's the same process whether you have customers or not, but obviously if you have customers, it's a lot easier. And I can tell you, being a customer myself using Frame for my YouTube videos, the main pain points that I experienced and why I got this software was because if I didn't have the software and I was manually telling my editor, change this music, put this text here, or edit this way, without using a software, it would literally take me 3 times as long to go through the editing process. So just by using this software and making it easier for us, we basically do the post-production when it comes to creating YouTube videos 3 times as fast, right? And it's just me and my editor, 2 people. But if you are a large company, right? Let's say you are, 500 creative people working on a movie like The Avengers or something like that, right? You have people all over the world working on this, from special effects to the director, to the sound guy, all these different people all around the world trying to work on one project. Going back and forth and the logistics of communicating or telling where you should do edits, that's gonna be a nightmare if you don't have a software. So obviously that's the value benefit. It basically saves you time, and if you're paying employees based on the time they spend working on a project, well, more time saved equals more money saved, more profits. So buying this software can be a direct correlation to increasing profits for a business. So now, if you're making more profits, well, buying the software is essentially free because it makes you money. And for me, that's what I personally think the benefit of Frame is, right? So now that we understand the pain points, we kind of see how we can solve that pain using a software. Next step is to actually write the email and address all those things I just talked about, put it in a concise email that people can read, understand, and book a meeting with you to learn more. Now, when it comes to writing your cold emails using the specific pain point that you find, when you send out your first campaigns, there's no guarantee that the first campaign is going to work, right? You can only take your best educated guess based on all the information that you have. Maybe it'll work, and that's great, and you keep moving forward. Or maybe it doesn't work and you have to adjust things, switch things out, or switch the pain point, change the messaging. You just have to find a way that resonates with your customers. And for the cold email that I'm gonna write as a salesperson for Frame, we're gonna use my special pain formula that I love to talk about. And it's a very simple formula anybody can use in any type of industry, whether you're selling small, medium business to enterprise, right? It's very simple. All you really do is you're talking about your relevant intro, the pain that the person experiences, how you solve that pain, and then you have a call to action, which is typically to book a meeting on your calendar or have them give them your schedule and you book a time to actually talk. So for the relevant intro, right, again, this is me as a sales development rep trying to break into the enterprise accounts, like getting into like a BuzzFeed, a Vice, or a Google, right? And this is what I would write. So let's say I'm writing to John, who is the, vice president of post-production or something like that, right? So you can say something like, hey, John, I'm a little lost. I'm writing in hopes of finding the appropriate person who handles video production. If it makes sense to talk, feel free to schedule a time to chat on my calendar here. So what I'm doing is I'm using a special technique where I'm saying I'm a little lost. You don't always have to do this, right? And I would A/B test whether this works or not. And I say, I'm a little lost. So what I'm doing in the first 4 words is I am asking for help, right? And the psychology is that when you're asking help from another person, people are more likely to just listen to what you have to say and help you out, right? Because, if you saw someone, needing help on the street, you would probably help them out. So, it's same psychology in the email. And I'm pretty much getting directly to the point. I'm saying, hey, I'm writing in hopes of finding the appropriate person who handles video production. So it's like saying, hey, I'm a little lost. I'm trying to look for the person who handles video production, right? And so I'm not pushing anything. I'm not selling anything. I'm saying, hey, I need some help. I'm looking for this person. And they're thinking, okay, well, why are you looking for this person? And then the next line, I'm saying I'm having a call to action, right? It's a soft call to action, but I'm gonna do another one at the end. So I'm saying, if it makes sense to talk, feel free to schedule a time to chat on my calendar here. So if they feel like they're the right person to talk to, they might click the link and then schedule a time to talk on my calendar. I could also say, if it makes sense to talk, let me know what your calendar looks like, and they would give me a time, right? Personally, I like to just put the link so they can click it and then book a call, because that's like a lot more common these days. But if you don't want to use a link, you can just ask them, what does your calendar look like? Now moving to the next step, which is the pain, right? So at this point, they probably don't book a meeting, but they know that's what you want. So they have that mindset going in, and then now they're gonna see what the next paragraph is all about. So that's where you address the pain first. Don't pitch your product or service right off the bat. You got to talk about the pain before you pitch. So I could say, as you know, post-production is one of the most time-consuming aspects of creating high-quality videos. Most media companies spend countless hours coordinating projects between internal employees, external contractors, and even client approval process. And obviously, this means less time for your brightest creatives to do great work. So, based on the pains that I kind of understand and being in, creating videos myself, I understand this is a pain, right? When you're doing post-production after you film everything, it takes a long time to, put everything together, sync the sound, do the music, do the color grading, do the editing, get approval, all this stuff, right? And that process is just exponentially longer when there's multiple parties involved, whether it's internal employees, external contractors, and all things like that, right? So basically, I'm showing that I understand this pain, I understand the industry, and I know that this person's probably experiencing this pain if they're not using a software, right? So at this point, what they're thinking in their heads, if they're not using any software, is, oh, I can totally relate to that. Because when we do post-production, it takes so long just to get a video out, and it just takes so many hours. But let's just keep reading to see what this guy has to say. And the whole point of the pain process of writing this is really just to get them to read everything, right? The goal of an email is to get them to read to the end and do the call to action. So now, you're piquing their interest, you're showing you understand them, and then so what's the solution, right? Now, solution, here we go. Now, my company, Frame.io, helps media companies like yours create modern video workflows that allow teams from across the planet to collaborate, annotate, comment, and approve projects at scale. Best of all, Frame.io integrates directly with Premiere Pro, so your team can spend less time on admin and more time creating. Some of our clients include Vice, Netflix, and BuzzFeed. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm not, giving them a whole spiel on exactly what we do and how we can help them and giving them, the specific bullet points, because when you give too much information sometimes, people, make a judgment on whether or not they should take a meeting with you or not based on that information. And if you're giving too much, they might, perceive your product or service the wrong way and decide, you know what, I don't really need this. But when you kind of show that you are solving a problem, but you're not really showing exactly how you do it, that's perfect because it intrigues curiosity. And the more curiosity that you can bring out into somebody, the more they will want to, figure out how they can, have a conversation with you. So like before I said, we talked about the pain of, how long it takes to do post-production. And in the solution, I kind of just give a 1-sentence summary of how we can make that process faster. I'm also saying that we directly integrate with Premiere Pro. So, if you know that, let's say, this certain media company, all their editors are using Premiere Pro, then, you're speaking their language, you understand what software they use, and they'll be like, oh, how did this guy know we use Premiere Pro? And, you start to really build that rapport because there's a connection there. And the last part of the solution is I'm talking about my clients, right? So on the website of Frame, as you can see, some of the clients is Vice, Netflix, Ogilvy, Masterclass. You got a lot of different, BuzzFeed, Google, right? A lot of different big clients right here, and they have case studies. So what you want to do when you have a bunch of clients is you want to pick 3 clients and you want to include them into your email that relates most to the prospect, the person you're sending the email to the most, right? So if you are, sending cold emails to, let's say, like a content website, that produces a lot of content, a lot of like gossip content and stuff like that, you would say like, hey, some of our clients include Vice, BuzzFeed, right? Because these are similar to the company that you want to talk to. And the last part of the cold email is the call to action. What exactly do you want them to do in the end? And you want to always make sure that this is crystal clear. So my call to action is, so if it makes sense to talk, go ahead and schedule the time to talk on my calendar here. Then, on the calendar here, I would put the link. But if not, who do you recommend I talk to? So if they're not the right person, maybe they'll forward my email to the right person, and then that person can schedule a meeting with me, and that also works as well. You don't want to use things like, let me know when you can get coffee and things like that, because it's too vague and there's no reason for them to spend time with a stranger. But if you just say, hey, if it makes sense to talk, here's a link to my calendar, and boom, click the link, schedule a meeting, done. So as you can see, this is pretty much what it looks like when you put the whole email together. You always want to make sure that you're spacing each paragraph, every sentence or every 2 sentences to make it more easy for the eyes to read, because a lot of times people are reading it from their phones. So if you write long blocks of text, people aren't going to read that, right? And it's very simple: intro, pain, solution, call to action. And that's pretty much how I would write my cold email, my first cold emails, when it comes to me, if I was a sales development rep trying to break into enterprise accounts. Now, the next step of the cold email is, when you're sending out the first cold email, it may work and you might get meetings right off the bat, or it may not work. And maybe, based on whatever you did, you're not getting any meetings. And that's totally okay, because the next step is to refine the process. When it comes to sales, you have to just basically keep trying different things until something resonates with the market, until something actually works. So if we go back to the email that I just wrote, right? So basically the email is broken up into 4 different parts. So assuming we are just using the same subject line, all we're really doing is we're replacing each of these parts. So let's say we might A/B test it, right? So we might send 50 emails with this template and then 50 emails with this template. And then what we might do is we might just change the intro. Maybe the intro's not good and people don't like the intro, so they don't respond. Or maybe the solution of how we pitch our product or service is not good either. So maybe we'll have, one email with, solution A, and then one email with solution B, and then it's just like a slight variation of how we would solve a problem, right? So essentially, what you want to do is you just want to A/B test these different parts to see which one works the most. And then when you keep A/B testing and you see what works and what doesn't work, eventually the response rate of your email gets higher and higher and higher and higher. But if you don't test, it's hard to really understand why it's not working. So that's why you want to break down your emails into these type of sections, right? And then, test one piece at a time until, you see some significant difference in result. And then you're like, okay, so that's what people want to see. And then from there, you just move on. Also, if your email templates do work, right off the bat, and you're getting phone meetings, on the phone call, you want to ask your prospect, like, hey, just curious, what got you, on this call? Why did you want to talk to me? And they're very candid, and they will tell you, I read your email, it seemed really interesting. We have this problem, blah, blah, blah. And when you hear the word problem or pain or challenge, then you're like, okay, that's what I need to put in my emails. For your next campaigns, you'll incorporate the pains that people talked about on the phone, and then, your response rate will get higher. And that's pretty much the process as you improve, as you continue on. And so with that said, that is pretty much how I would write my cold emails. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and let me know in the comments what was your #1 takeaway in this video. And if you want to check out more lead generation and cold email videos, check out my other videos. And so with that said, my name is Patrick Dang. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you guys in the next one.